Hi, welcome back to Survey Central, where we help you stay on grade. Today I'm going to make a quick video talking about how to connect our rover to our base. In the previous video, we talked about how to start our base. So today, first, we're going to make sure our base is started and make sure that we know what channel our base is on. So I started my base, I know it's on channel 3, and we're running FH915 protocol. Okay, to set our channel, we'll click Control, Radios. We want to make sure our radio type is set to R2 Light SS if we have one of the square rovers. If it's one of the round ones, we want it set to FH915 SS. Connected to modem port A for a square one or serial port C for a round one. Our baud rate should be 115,200 for a square one or 38,400 for a round one. Our format should be RTCM 3.x for either. We're going to click Configure. It's going to connect to our rover. If that serial number you saw was wrong, go ahead and click Cancel and it'll bring up a list of serial numbers you can connect to. We're going to set our radio mode to rover, power output 1000 MW, link rate 9600, RTS/CTS on, channel, my base is set to channel 3, so I'm going to make sure that's channel 3, and protocol, my base is set to FH915, so I'm going to make sure it's set to that. If your base was set to FH915 plus, that's what you would set it to. FH915 plus is usually what they're set to. I'm going to click Set, and then OK, and it'll set your settings to the rover. So first, the easiest way is just go to Tools and Connect. And you'll see in this latest version of the program, it automatically knows the serial number of my rover up here, and it connects, says waiting for corrections, and then in just a second here, you should see the little satellite picture go green. Another thing you can look at is the lights here. I'm going to look at the antenna light. The second one to the right in will start flashing yellow and green when it's getting a radio signal. So you can see we went green here. Now that we're green, the first thing I want to check is I'm going to click that little green satellite button. See my distance to base by clicking that info tab up there, and it says I'm 32 feet to my base. So my base is just sitting in front of the truck right now, just about 32 feet in front of me, so that looks about right. If that's off, a lot of times you'll see that's like millions of feet. That just means you're connected to someone else's base in the area. It could be way out over there. You're within their radio range, but it's running a different calibration on it, and so that's why that distance is going to be, even though you're less than 1,000,000 feet away from their base, it's going to think you're 1,000,000 feet away, but you're within radio range. So if you get that, you need to go back, start your base on a different channel, reconnect, and check your distance to base. So that looks good. We're going to click OK. The next thing I want to do is check in with a control point. Now, I set a control point on the ground just right here for us to check. So if I zoom out on the screen here, you'll see it's number 1. I'm going to go to Tools, Stakeout, Control Point, and then if you have the newer version, you've got the map here. You can click on number 1, or you can click the numbers here and click the number 1 in the table there. Click OK, and then it's telling us where we need to go to get to that one. So I'm going to walk on over to it on the ground here. Put my rod right on it, and then drop my legs. Check my bubble, make sure my bubble is centered. You see here our distance east and our distance north and our elevation are all really, really close. If you push enter, it'll take a quick shot on it and it'll measure it even better. So you can see our northing and easting are really close. Our elevation's a cut of 100th. As long as you're within, they say the accuracy of GPS is 2 centimeters. That's roughly an inch. So if you're an inch or less, then you can know pretty well that you're connected to the right base and everything is set up right. Now, one common mistake I see a lot is if your cut is about 6.56 feet or your fill is about 6.56 feet, that means the height of your rod that you have entered either when you started your base, or in here if you go to control and antenna, that antenna height is off. When you start your base, that should typically be 0. A lot of times people put it in as 6.56. So if that's the case, a lot of times you just go restart your base, make sure that antenna height is 0, and that'll fix that. So what happens if we go to click tools and then connect and we don't connect to anything, or we have problems connecting? Usually there's something we're trying to connect to a different rover than was last connected to it, and so we have to go into the equipment profile and make sure that is set correctly to correct with the proper type rover we have up on our rod. So we're going to go to control, machine setup. Now you can see I've got a few here. I know this is a VR head because it's the newer style square ones. If it was slightly older and round, it would be a V. And so I'm just going to go on this VR profile and click edit, and we'll walk through the settings for both. So the configuration name, that can be whatever you want it to be. The sensor type is GNSS. The units of measure should be US survey feet. Go ahead and click next. The antenna type, if we're the square one, we want to make sure that's set to Topcon Hyper VR. If it's the round one, we'll drop that down and make it say Topcon Hyper V. You can see right there. I've got a VR, so I'm going to switch it back real quick. And click next. Actually, I'm going to backtrack for just a second. Make sure that antenna height is always 6.56 for a rover on the pole like this, and then measured to base. Now we'll click next. These, don't worry about. These, you can change some different things, but you just leave these as default values and you're fine. Now the radio type, if you've got the square VR like this, it needs to be set to R2 Lite SS. And you can already see in this one, in this version of the software, these connected to modem port A and baud rate are grayed out. You can't change those. Those are already correct. But in some of the older versions, you can. In this one, you want it set to modem port A and the baud rate of 115/200. And then your format should be RTCM 3.x. Now, if we had one of the round ones, the Topcon Hyper V, you'd click this drop down here, and you'd find the one that says Topcon FH915SS. Now, let me change this. It doesn't show up because I'm not set to Hyper V. Now I am. I'll drop this down, and I can see Topcon FH915SS. Click on that. We want to be serial port C, and our baud rate needs to be 38,400. Our format needs to be RTCM 3.x. So I'm going to backtrack and set it back to the correct one for the rover I currently have, which is right there. Radio type's correct. Now you'll notice here on this newer version, it asks you your connection type. You have that as Bluetooth. You want to make sure that right below your Bluetooth there has your rover serial number. If it doesn't, click discover and then you'll select it. In the older version, this screen does not show up. You have to choose your serial number each time you connect to your rover. That's one of the newer features that I like about the newer software version, is if you're using the same equipment every day, it remembers your base serial number and your rover serial number, and you don't have to select those every time. So now we're going to go ahead and click finish and click OK. Make sure we're set on the right profile. And then we can click to connect here. Give it a second and it should connect. We're initializing. We can look up at the lights here. We're still flashing green. In just a second, we'll start flashing yellow and green. There, now it's initialized and green, and we can do just what we did before. Check in with the control point, click on here, check our distance to base, and we're looking good. So we're going to click OK. We're connected. We're good to go. Thanks for watching.